Welcome back to the RWTA Chilled Out series, where we talk about all manner of things that relate to the Australian cold chain. This is your time to sit back for a few minutes and take in something that is perhaps new to you and maybe of benefit to your company. We have a new member of the RWTA that I'm keen to introduce today, and this is Tennille Cilia, the Managing Director of Preventure ANZ. Hi, Tennille, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Marianne. Thanks for having me.
True pleasure. Tennille, what does Preventure have that the Australian cold chain needs?
Well, let me start by giving you a little bit of background about how we came about. So we are a technology platform that was developed by a gentleman called Scott Coleman. So Scott's a sports scientist and a sports physio that was working with elite athletes to measure load to prevent injuries, and also using that information to then get people back to their sport without further injuries. And unfortunately, his mum actually suffered a workplace injury where she had 7 levels of her spine fused, suffered from chronic pain and early retirement, and she was a nurse. And so Scott was set out on a journey to understand how he could take this technology that was at his fingertips to understand load with athletes, to actually take this to the workplace so that we could understand the load on our workforce who are undertaking physical manual handling tasks as part of their everyday jobs, to be able to understand where we could reduce musculoskeletal injuries, identify risks, and also support injured workers back to work using real-time data. So my understanding is the cold chain industry, warehouse logistics, is a very manual handling task. They are associated, and they underpin Australia. They underpin the world, really, when you think about it. I mean, people take for granted that they open their fridge and everything is there, and they go to the supermarket and it's all available for them. But there is a chain that goes to getting that to there, and there are physical manual tasks that are associated with that. So what our platform aims to do is help support identifying those areas of musculoskeletal injuries, supporting reduction in work cover claim costs, and being able to use innovative technology. Easy, I will say that. I don't have a tech background. I want to premise that by saying it straight away, that if I can use it, anyone can use it. But being able to pair data with what we currently do now and do it better so that we can impact across the workforce and reduce those injuries and get people home safely.
That is incredibly important for every company will look after their people. It's the most important thing. And I think looking down the track, we have spoken about this before, we've got a Victorian Golf Day coming up later in the year where you can hook some people up to show them how this works, which is going to be amazing. Now, safety in the prevention of injuries is, because it's at the forefront of business, how much does an industry prevention scheme like yours save companies in the long run? You used to work for work cover, so you understand that cost.
I do, yeah. So work cover claims, there's so many additional factors to just a work cover claim. We're looking at a company who have had musculoskeletal injuries or injuries altogether. And there are also the impacts that are not calculated in that realm. So we have loss of productivity. We have when you have to backfill a worker, when you have loss of productivity because you've got reduced workers doing the job because you've got injuries and people out or return to work. You're having to find new skill sets for people who are unable to return back to the work that they were doing beforehand. So there is tens of millions of dollars that is wrapped up in the work cover scheme. What we're looking at doing with our platform is helping individual companies be able to reduce those costs. And I can tell you, as someone who was a work cover manager previously and has spent predominantly most of my working profession in the work cover and return to work space, I can tell you that the cost of a technology platform is so small compared to the cost of a work cover claim. When you think about a back claim or a shoulder claim that requires surgery, that requires time off work, rehabilitation, and like I said, retraining possibly, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars that are wrapped up in a claim. And you can actually use a platform like this and impact and save such a significant amount of money by identifying and preventing the injuries before they even happen. And so you'll actually have the flow on from not just the injury cost claim coming down, but your premiums. And we've got many clients who've actually seen a reduction in their premiums from using the data.
That's incredible. This is going to be so useful for the Australian cold chain. And thank you for speaking with us today. We look forward to introducing you and your team around the membership at the upcoming RWTA 81st Conference and Exhibition at the QT between the 20th and the 22nd of August. We will see you at the Gold Coast, Tennille.
We will. Thank you very much, Marianne.
Thanks.